There are too many things to watch. There's stuff on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime Video, HBO Max, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Peacock, Apple TV Plus, ESPN Discovery Plus, Crunchyroll, Hulu, Crave, Funimation. Oh wait. On Netflix, I'm watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and All of Us Are Dead. Hulu, I'm watching the entirety of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm watching The Boys on Amazon, The Fresh Prince on HBO Max. I can also watch the reunion special, but I have to get Peacock if I want to watch the reboot. What if you want to rewatch the MCU? To watch The Incredible Hulk, which I'm pretty sure no one has ever said in the past 5 years, you have to get HBO Max because that's what it's on right now. Now what about a movie everyone actually wants to rewatch? To watch the Spider-Man movies, you have to get Stars because they're not on Disney Plus. And what about Cobra Kai? It's a Karate Kid spinoff, and I have to go out of my way to watch 2 and 3 because only the first one's on Netflix, and that was a long time ago. I don't even know if it's on there right now. And it may be on Netflix in a different country, so you have to get a VPN, and some streaming services aren't even available outside of America. So there's no way you can really go in 2022 without one streaming service unless you do illegal activities. And sometimes the specific show or movie that you bought that streaming service for may not even have that product in a few months. The Office was one of Netflix's biggest shows, and it left Netflix to go to Peacock, NBC's streaming service. It gets kind of frustrating if you're in the middle of a binge watch or you got something in the back of your list and then you find out that it's not even going to be there in a few days. I remember watching half of The Big Lebowski, then going to sleep and waking up the next day to find that it was gone. So I had to rent the movie from YouTube to watch half of it. Now with all of these options we have, I'm pretty sure that we just reinvented cable, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. We have all types of different options, and even then if you grab a couple streaming services, it's still pretty much cheaper than cable because you don't have to install a satellite and things like that. And now the services are kind of like channels because they have original shows that air week to week, except for Netflix because they just don't get the memo. Everybody has binge watched at least one Netflix original. Every time a new season of Stranger Things comes out, I watch it in one weekend. I was watching Daredevil season 3 on my iPhone in gym class. I remember staying off Twitter to avoid spoilers because they dropped all 13 episodes at once and they're all an hour long, and some people just had that inhumane ability to watch it all before they even go to sleep. And this really works well for Netflix. Imagine an entire weekend where people are talking about nothing but your show. Then imagine the second weekend where word of mouth gets around and more people are picking up the show and watching it and loving it. Now imagine the third weekend where something new has come out and people forgot about the show and no one really cares until you get a new season picked up. I'm sure Netflix themselves wouldn't mind. I mean, hey, they're making money and they're releasing content every single day of the week. From a financial point of view, it's pretty genius. I don't know where Bridgerton is, and every time it gets brought up when a new season comes out, I feel like I'm living in a fever dream, but hey, Netflix is happy, so why not? But looking at things from the outside as a consumer, I think that it's kind of tiring. Like every other month, there's some big show that everyone's talking about, and I'm having trouble catching up because I'm already watching the last big event. And not just that, but things that also aren't Netflix originals. It's hard to keep up. I did point out the pros of the binge model, but I think a weekly model works best. Not everybody agrees with that though. Season 1 of The Boys dropped on one day, and then season 2 started doing weekly, and the show got review bombed at first. But I don't know, I think that's a smart business tactic. I think people talk about your show more when you air it over a period of time instead of dropping it all at once and they talk about it for maybe a week or two. For example, I want to talk about WandaVision. In January 2021, everybody was making theories, talking about the new episodes, the sitcom eras. Regardless of what you think about the show, it was 8 weeks of people just talking their shit. And now in hindsight, I think the show is a good example because I think dropping it all at once would have ruined the mystery behind the show. Yeah, Ralph Boner aside, I would have liked most of the stuff in the show to be a mystery. I'm just gonna move on from WandaVision because I don't want to hit a nerve for anybody. So, spoilers. I'd rather get spoiled for the episode that just came out yesterday than the entire series that I just started watching. When the show releases weekly, I feel like the spoilers for that episode is kind of a community thing. Everyone's tweeting about it, talking about it, posting about it. Everyone's kind of watching it together, and it's easier to stay on Twitter for a few days until you watch the episode than a few days for you to watch the entire series. I don't know about you, but I'd rather get a fraction spoiled for me than the entire thing. Imagine if The Walking Dead was a streaming original. Everybody tuning in to watch that Glenn episode, it was a community thing, and I feel like with the streaming service, if they drop it all at once, the magic would be kind of ruined. These shows get dropped at 3 a.m. anyway, so I feel like it's easier to stay off social media until you watch it later on that night instead of the entire season. I feel like I've been talking about this way too long, so let's talk about popularity. What's the first Netflix original show to come to your mind, and why is it Stranger Things? Okay, regardless of what you actually thought, this show is the most iconic. Everyone knows the Eggos, the Demogorgons, the shave heads, the nosebleeds, the Halloween costumes, the ESP, all that stuff. It's iconic. Now, where's all the Cursed fans, everybody? There is a lot to watch on these streaming services, and some shows get canceled because they weren't getting enough views, and if you were interested in them, then you probably didn't want to watch them anymore because it got canceled anyway, so what's the point? It's not like a TV channel where it shows a certain amount of shows. The sky's really the limit. I'll still never forgive them for canceling Dad Stop Embarrassing Me. And this isn't exclusively a Netflix problem, but they do have have a lot more content than other streaming services. This could be a good thing depending on who you ask, because there's also an infinite amount of content to go through. So Netflix is on top, and it might end up being the best streaming service objectively, right? Well, I don't know, man. HBO Max is looking better and better by the day. I mean, where else can you watch Eraserhead and Kung Fu Panda in one place? Disney Plus is cool, but also it's Disney Plus, so if you're expecting diversity, then I don't know what you expected. Prime Video's alright, but it's almost like it has no soul. I wonder why. Apple TV Plus is a Best Picture winner, which is cool. It's kind of impossible to pay for it though, because every time you walk into an Apple store, you get a free year. I love Hulu, but something is so funny about it, like looking at Netflix and just going, yeah, I'm not going to try and compete with this at all. I'm going to have lesser movies. I'm going to have ads. Yeah, we have FX responsible for some of the best TV of the generation, but I'm just not going to try and compete at all. And all that other shit, I don't have them because it's my choice to not have them. And I think that's why we reinvented cable, but it's better. Instead of just paying for a package of some stuff you want, but another package has stuff that you do want and you have to upgrade to get that, it's just a couple of bucks to one service and then another one if you want that. So these things are better than cable because they're cheaper and they offer a lot of variety that you can watch at any time, despite there being a lot. No one's forcing you to watch anything. They don't charge a cancellation fee. You can cancel and pick it back up at any time. If you love Star Wars, it's all in one place. If you love Nickelodeon, it's all in one place. If you love Cartoon Network, it's all in one place. Some of the biggest series and movies of all time are on these services, and there's no physical media release of them yet, so basically you have to get these services to watch them. And one thing that I think could be a con for some is that all of these are their own thing. There's not really a big monopoly on streaming services yet. You have a bunch of options and not one company rules everything. But of course, these things are not perfect. Movies jump around from platform to platform. Even HBO Max loses Warner Brothers movies. How does that happen? The binge model could be annoying because of avoiding spoilers and also the thousands of other shows you're trying to watch at the same time. And then before you know it, that show gets canceled. So there's a lot of annoying stuff about these streaming services, but they're kind of a necessity and we're not really going to get rid of them anytime soon. If Netflix and Hulu were kind of the first wave, all of these new things popping up are kind of the second wave. So we're still in the infancy of all this, and I'm excited to see how things go in the future. I just hope that they get better. These things really bring people together. Shows that they love, movies that they enjoy that they wouldn't have seen if they didn't have those services, and experiences that overall you just don't want to miss out on. But they seriously fucked up by canceling Dad Stop Embarrassing Me.
It's 2019, for God's sake.